Hello, thought I'd have a look at these Modelux products today, and this is a low relief warehouse. I was going to use on the layout originally, but then I decided it wasn't really suitable for the layout, so I purchased it but never actually built it. I don't know how easy these kits go together, so I think we'll start. And is just the card back in there. And there is no need to paint or pre-colour these apparently, so, and it's all made out of laser cut card, so it should all go together quite nice and easy. And you sort of get some instructions. I think the best thing to do on this one would be to look at a photograph of the actual product, and then it might give a bit more of an idea. Now let me just put some of this to one side. So, what do we have in this bag? So it looks like we've got the window at the top there. So I'm not sure exactly. We've got one of the doors with a door frame. Do I need to remove anything off that? Don't know yet. Obviously the roof sections. So in this we must have the side. Now, just have one of those. Was expecting two. So let's see what we've actually got. Not sure where these all go. Okay, so they look like cover layers for those. Ah, we do have two. So they've got stuck together. So those like they're the cover layers for these. And we have the windows and window frames. So, good mix of components here. So let me have a look at just these instructions and let's make a start. Oh, and I missed this one while I was just looking at the instructions. I just noticed it on the front of the table there. And I'm not sure where these bits go, but let's not forget them. So I think the first bit to do really is to make the windows, match them all up with the window frames. So we've got, basically you can have them black, or if you'd really wanted like a dirty white where it's the actual reverse side of the card, where it's been laser cut, it could actually go like that. So, but I'm not sure I want that, so I think we'll go for the black. So with just a black window frame. So I'm just going to glue all these together. I'm just going to use just a bit of PVA glue. And what I will do is I'm going to put a small bit of glazing behind each of these windows as well. So I'm just going to get these glued nice and squarely. And then just put these to one side, let them all dry. So before I actually glue them, just make sure I've got the right frame to the window. There's a few different size windows, so I'm just going to carry on, get the rest of those made, and then we'll come back. So that's all the windows completed. I'm just going to let them dry. And I'm going to do just the same with the door. Just want to make sure it's square. And pop that to one side as well. And let's have a look at the next bit. I think I need to put this oval window on here actually first. So I'm just going to just good job this glue dries clear. I've gone a little bit overboard there. We get a couple of glue marks now. It's a problem with that one, it's not a very fine nozzle. A lot of the fine stuff I tend to use a brush, but I've sort of got a little bit carried away on this one. So I've got that, then I need to put the windows behind the main front of the building, so they should all fit nicely behind there, and then that one will go over the top, and then I just need to have a look at how the sides and roof go. Okay, let's get these windows glued in. So I think these are all dry, so I'm just going to just place one in initially, just to have a just to see how it will look, and doesn't look too bad. Right, I'm going to get these glued in then. I'm hoping to get this in nice and square straight away. So, and to get to and have to remove. And that looks okay. Just take your time when you're doing things like this, and it's just important to make sure that it is nice and square. And I'm not quite happy with this one just yet. Okay, I think that looks alright. So I'm just going to carry on and get the rest of these windows in. Right, so that's all the windows in place, as you can see. Now I'm just going to get the door and this oval vent at the top. I'm just doing exactly the same thing on the door, just want to make sure it's all in place, all nice and square. I've just got like a magnifying glass from Helping Hands, and was just double checking everything on that. Make sure it was all nice and square looking. So to me that looks okay. So on the instructions it sort of shows put these two pieces together, but then it looks like you put them on the opposite side, but you can't do that. So I think you've got two options. You can either glue the frame to the fan on the front there and then put the fan on the rear, or you can sort of mount it on the exterior. So I think I will go for that, because I'm not going to be able to get this apart now to try and put the fan on the back and then that piece on the front. So I'm just going to put a very small bit just around the frame and get the smallest amount out. And I think I want it so it's just nice and I think that all looks straight. Yep. Okay, so we've got the front of the building nearly finished. Then I need to add this piece. So I'm going to just put these to one side because I'm going to need to join those together shortly. And I'm just going to get this fitted in place. And that looks quite good. Just make sure it's all square before you start gluing. Now make sure pieces fit. because there is actually a little bit of movement that I do need to make on this, so I might need to just use some clamps. So some good tips is to use little pegs. So if you do need to hold something, it works quite effectively. So let's put a small piece of PVA around here, and then we can start looking at the sides. And I think I've got a bit too much on here, so I'm just going to take some off of that with my finger. And I could do with the cloth, but I'll just, a moment, just get a bit of cloth to wipe my hands on there. Right, now I need to get this on without getting in too much of a mess. I just want to be on level surface. And you'll see what I mean. So I just need to make sure this lines up on the edge there. So I am going to use this peg just to hold that edge. So actually, this PVA glue is quite good, and it does hold straight away. So you don't need the peg, really. Surprisingly enough. Let's just make sure that that is nice and level. Okay, that's coming together quite nicely. Starting to look quite good. And what it does tell me to do is to join these pieces together. So I need to join them like this, and there is a 3mm over which then would sit on here, so and give you a nice flush edge. So I'm going to glue these two pieces together now while the main front is just drying. Making sure this is nice and square, got some pressure, and okay, so that's one side complete. Right, let's do the next one. And I think I'm actually going to glue it onto the black, because I've got a slight, when I was just putting these two together, I got a very slight white edge there. Maybe because I didn't quite get it as level as I was hoping for. And now it's glued, I'm going to need to just black that edge in, just, or trim it off. So I think if I did it in black, you wouldn't notice that so much. So whether I do that, because you really want the black on the inside. No, I'm going to just do it as I did the other one. Hopefully, don't need to trim it. Let's get this nice and level this time. Okay, there we go. Let's. I'm going to let those dry and just have a quick read of the instructions and see what we do next. Right, I think it's time to add these bits. So let's just check on the fit. So that doesn't look too bad. and the O-bearing on there. I'm going to just put a bit on the other side as well. And just on a nice level surface. Okay, I could do with a couple of square blocks, but I think that'll be fine. I'm going to sort of fit a piece in the back just to make sure it is level. I think that's the idea, but I think I'll use the grid lines on this board first. Okay, I'm just going to leave that to dry so I don't do any damage, and then want to get the roof pieces on, so that'll be fitting nicely there. And there is the bits to go around the top of the roof, and we also have, I need to glue these two pieces together, and these will be on the sides. And I think those are the bits that go on the roof there, and I need to just check on the instructions where those two pieces go. I think they go along here actually. So okay, so let me get this all to dry, and while that's drying I'm going to just glue these together to get the right thickness. Just popped a little bit of glue on there and get these glued together. As before, you get like a 3mm overhang there, so when it sits on the front it's nicely flush the front of the wall. So it's just making sure I get these together nice and square. So I just need to come back to that, and the roof, from what I can see, you just put those together, and you just want to put a bit of glue on there. Could do with some ridge tiles, I think. So I think there's a little bit of modifications that you want to do on these. So you could add some ridge tiles, you can add a more interior, so you could add some floors and a back, so when you light the building it doesn't just show as an empty shell. So I'm going to just get this glued together, I think, in basically the right shape. And it will allow for a bit of a modification and movement anyway. So and where I've got a bit of excess glue, I'll show you a good way of hiding any of the glue marks. Oops. So if you do get any glue marks, I'm not going to be saying this is all going to be perfect. Right, I think this is sturdy enough. Really could do with some inner floors to keep this a little bit more solid. And it does actually, I was just reading these instructions, it says fit the roof last. And there's a couple of bits of trim that will go on here. So I'm going to get these glued in place. And because there's no sort of full floors or anything like that, it's when you're gluing these pieces in, it's going to be all over the place. So this is going to be a little bit tricky to get all level. So I'm going to do my best and just see how it comes out. So a lot of the time it's just patience waiting for glue to dry. Let's get those on, and then we've got these pieces to fit, but there's going to be no support at all. So how do I get these to right, so it could be interesting. It is quite a good PVA glue, this, so they do actually dries reasonably quick, but it grabs a firm hold straight away. So let's leave those pieces to just dry, and then we'll have a look at adding these. These are more like the asbestos or concrete pieces for the to hide all the guttering. Well, maybe not guttering actually, but sort of the roof edge. So I'm going to let that dry and then get these last couple of pieces in. Right, I think it's time to just get these last pieces glued in. So let me just show where we're going to, these are just going to be fitted along here. I just need to get these level, so I think the easiest method might be actually just popping it on the level surface like that. And I'm just fitting these in. Now they do seem to be slightly longer, and the pictures that I've got seem to show it level. So let me, I'm just going to quickly have a look. I've just got a photograph, and from what I can see, it's not been built brilliantly in the photograph, but it's does show it overhanging slightly, but it doesn't look quite right with the rest of the roof. So I can always trim that piece off. So I'm going to go with that like that. so it will overhang slightly. Just need to make sure I've got the texture facing upwards. So I think what I will do is I'm just going to put the glue just on this edge and then pop them on the, just on the, so while it's drying you can get it nice and level. So there needs to be a nice even gap all the way around, so let's have a look. See, that's that looks okay. I'll do the same on this. And I'm just going to look straight down, just make sure we've got nice straight edges. Right, it's another, leave this to dry for a few more minutes and I'll get the roof in place after that. Right, I've just got the last bit to add in, which obviously is the roof section, so just going to check, see how well that fits, and it seems to look okay. So I'm going to get this prepared and glued in. So what I am going to do is just get the glue on this edge there. So you have to sort of make your own sort of assembly instructions up in to a degree. It's not that detailed, but it is quite straightforward. So I think it then sits, yeah, so I'll need to just put some underneath on here as well. And same on the other side. And let's see if we can get this in without getting glue everywhere. Right, I'm going to sit that on a level surface so I can get that to glue. Having a little bit of trouble with lining this up. So I think I'll just hold that on there for a short while. And then we can get the sides glued on. So that is slightly different how I thought the glue was going to go on there. So I'm going to just let the main piece there and just work out how these actually are supposed to go. Because we've got a couple of overhangs on there, I'm just going to let that overhang like that, and then so I can now see how I can glue this roof piece in here. So I'm just going to put a couple of spots just on the inside there, push the roof into place and let that dry. So I might need to just put something on there to just sort of get that to stay in place just while I get that to dry. So right, I'm going to leave this now all dry, and I'll just prop it up, that piece there, and I'll just put something, I'll need to just find something to just pop on there just to get that to stay secure as well. So let's come back in a few more minutes. There we have the Modelux warehouse. This is the, just let me get the instructions there. So this is the Worcester factory building in double O gauge low relief, and obviously there is modifications that you may want to do to these. So if we looked at the rear, it's not the most sturdiest building because it could do with a bit more structure in place. So I think it could do with the main floor, floors for all the levels, and also probably one just at the top there, just to give it a really good rigid structure. And then you could also add some lights. So if you was going to add lights in there, I would suggest putting a back to it, to just stop any of the light bleed going onto your back scene. But that's it's not a bad looking building, and obviously if you wanted to make this a lot narrower, you could have made it ultra low relief. And if you do get any glue marks that you want to get rid of, I always use a matte lacquer. It's not going to get rid of every single mark, but it dulls them over. It's really good when you're doing card buildings. So I'm not sure how it's going to go on to this building, but I'm going to actually put a little bit on, you know, just sort of the front where I've sort of got a little bit, you know, on but I've got a little bit of glue marks on there. So, but I'm going to test a little bit on another section before I put it all over the building and ruin it. But always just check before you do anything like that, and never spray it on when you put the glazing in. So that's one thing I need to just get, is some perspex or just some transparent pieces for the glazing, just to give it a bit better sort of feel. I might even put like a light on the outside here, just above the door. So I've got some of those in stock. But I'm not sure where I'm going to use this, which layout in the future, but I've now got it ready. Okay, thank you for watching, and I wish you a very good evening or a good rest of the day, and I'll see you on the next video.